This past weekend, we got to see the true return to form with NA Valorant Stage 3 Challengers 1 Open Qualifier brackets. We got to see some of our favorite teams that aren't Sentinels or V1 play the video game. We got to see teams like Exit, we got to see teams like Envy, we also got to see teams like FaZe Clan, TSM, Built by Gamers, Cloud9, Immortals, and NRG. So this weekend there were a lot of upsets going into the Close Qualifier brackets. With all of these roster changes, I assume that these teams would be doing better than ever, but with these new rotations and not having tournament play, a lot of them choked the bag. Despite all these upsets though, going into the Close Qualifier next weekend, we see a lot of teams that we assumed were going to be there. Teams like Sentinels, Xset, Envy, V1, 100 Thieves, Gen G, as well as two more unknown teams that if you aren't following the more tier 2 Valorant, you may not know who they are. Rise beat not only Built by Gamers, but also Cloud9 Blue to make it in, as well as the Kansas City Pioneers beat Immortals, as well as Virtuoso to get in. Even if you haven't been following the scene too closely, these teams are more familiar than you may think. So I'm going to go over these two teams, talk to you a little bit today, who they are, why they're here, and what this means for the rest of NA Valorant. So first, let's start off in Rise. Rise has been a team in Valorant for quite a while now, since 2020. But it was only until their most recent incarnation that they've been doing very, very well. They've made a lot of pickups that make them a great team. They have a young Overwatch grinder in the name of Derek. They have Neptune from Immortals, as well as Superman from Dignitas, who is a pro Crossfire player. However, it's their other players that make Rise almost the super villains of the North American Valorant scene. And that is Shanks and Poised, and just until recently, Calypso. Because these three players were CSGO match fixers, and I'm not talking like Swag and Skadoodle like 2014, whenever that was. I'm talking like very recently match fixing, like just before entering Valorant. There's still investigations going on, type beat. Shanks was the Jet Opera from NRG, most famously, very good player, as well as Poised played on Dignitas. So while these players are very good, they're kind of scumbags. Rise beat both Built by Gamers and Cloud9 Blue, because ultimately their team is incredibly good. They've been playing for quite a while, and to beat two very prestigious teams, including Cloud9 Blue, who has one of the best potential rosters in the world right now with Floppy and Zeppa, two very good CSGO players. It's crazy to see them beat them both. Rise is seeded to play Xset in the Close Qualifier brackets. While I don't think they'll win that, I think Xset is a very good team, I think they're willing to make a run in the losers bracket for sure. Rise definitely deserves a spot here, and it just goes to show how good so many players in North America are. North America is a very competitive region, and it all comes down to playing on the day, your team composition. I think Rise can make a great run through this tournament, and I want to see how they play. The second team that made it to the Close Qualifier brackets was the Kansas City Pioneers, or KCP. I'm not even familiar with this team because they were signed just before the start of Stage 3, literally June 30th. They were picked up from FPL-C, which was a prospects team. Physic, JMO, and Scourge all come from EU, Odurus from Beast Coast, and Scuba just playing the video game. This team though has been playing together for a while, not only on EU United, but together on their prospects team. So getting picked up and playing together is definitely what gave them the edge to beat Immortals. Now, not to discredit their victory, but Immortals has gone through a lot of roster changes. I'm talking more than the normal. They've rotated out 3 players into their new roster, having Rossi come up pretty recently just before the end of last split, Jonah P just being introduced, as well as Turo replacing Chemicals. So 3 out of their 5 players are pretty new to the team. I think not having a lot of time to practice definitely is what gave the Pioneers more team-based, playing together, the edge, beating them 2-1. Immortals actually just recently played in a Nerd Street Gamers tournament and lost to EG2O. This Immortals roster was definitely not in their top shape. Congratulations to KCP for doing so well and beating them out. KCP is seeded to play against Envy in the next game, and unfortunately I don't think they'll go very far in this close bracket, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. A lot of these players aren't very familiar with the top of Valorant, but they've been playing for quite a while, so they could make a run. This just goes to show how important roster changes are. If you constantly change out your roster, similar to what Immortals is doing, similar to what TSM is doing, it ruins the flow of a team, and I think it's important to know when you're playing at the top of a competitive level. I'm glad to see so many upsets in the Stage 3 open bracket qualifier, even though a lot of them were teams I very much like. It's what keeps Valorant fresh. It lets these teams realize that there is a fire under their ass and they need to keep improving. There were a lot of tier 2 teams that over the summer played a ton of Nerd Street Gamers and Pittsburgh Knights tournaments. Teams like the Sonics, Renegades, Rise, Virtuoso, making all these upsets. We even saw the Sonics take a game off of the Sentinels. The Sonics have taken more games than the entirety of the rest of the world. That's crazy. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long on this. I hope this video helped you understand who these teams are and what they're doing here, and give you an idea of how they will do going forward. I'm excited to watch the closed bracket qualifiers this weekend again. It's going to be super fun. If you want to hear more about me rambling on about Valorant, learning more about the scene, please subscribe. It's free. You get to see a video every once in a while in your subscription box. It's not that bad. If you want to hear more directly from me on Twitter, you can follow that, as well as I have a Discord. If you really want to talk about esports, I'll be in there talking about it, playing video games, doing the whatnot. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace.